Hey, hello. Hello, everyone. How are you today? How are you today? New month, new goals, new mindset, new performance. I hope that you all have the best month ever, right? Let me. Okay, this is better. So, hello, Cuba. You hate Apple? Brother. You don't trust Apple. You never trust Apple. Hello, Dipti. Hey, Rael. Hey, Justin. Hey, what's up, Luke? Hola, Gabi. Hello, Andy. So, guys, I have an appointment today later for my driver's license and Texas ID renewal. So I need to rush with this session. I hope that we answer all of your questions. And if you have any other questions for today, and it's it's getting closer to 2 p.m. Eastern time, I will need to cut the session, but you can always send me your questions. Giuseppe, this is my hometown team. This is the Rayados jersey, and this is my Rayados cap. So wish me good luck because today we have this match against the Borussia Dortmund from Germany. So they are a tough team, but we have very good players today. So let's do this. So it's today 9 p.m. Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you have some time, it's gonna be a nice it's gonna be a nice match. The whole tournament has been amazing. So yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. Hello, Tina. Hello, Felix, Lara. All right, guys. So Apple today. I don't go over Apple because I like it, but I go over Apple because I know some of you guys are still trading some of these. So just being honest with this, I was watching this morning because even when I don't trade Apple, I need to stay uh, close to see what's going on with Apple because usually when Apple moves, the whole market moves. So yes, I'm not trading Apple, but I'm always watching Apple. So today we had this open retest of the opening price, and I think that's the higher time frame thesis for this was staying above the previous day high, staying above the previous day high. And if you were on the session with Tony and Jack, they were actually looking for something like this. They were looking for this break retest of this previous they had. This is actually not a clean break and retest, right? This is not a clean break and retest. But if you zoom out, look left, you will see that this pre-market high was almost aligned to this previous day high. So they were looking for something like this, right? So they were actually looking for something like this, like staying above previous day high. They were stop out something like here, and they just say, well, let's try it again, and they did this, something like this, right? So if you go to their post, to social media post, you will see that they were trying something like this, right? Something like this. And so they failed the first time, but they did what we call the 84% rule. The 84% rule is when you take a second entry right on the same spot with the same risk and the same targets, because the market structure is intact. So as you can see here, this week it's actually higher than the previous low. So this is actually kind of a market structure relevant. So that's why they took this second entry here. All right. So if you miss any of these ones, because it was very early in the morning. This, look at this. This is 9:38. So if you were missing this action here, or even this one here, and you wanted to wait for a break and retest of high of the day, 5 minute opening range, so you have this other opportunity here. So you had this break, good displacement, retest of this 208.15. That's a multiple touches key level on the daily chart. Also, this is high of the day. Also, this is the 5 minute opening range. So after all of these signals here, and also look at, yeah, look at the indices. And today something very interesting happened on the indices. You will see that there's some divergence between SPY and QQQ. So it's something to notice, something to just, to stay aware. But if you keep your plans according to technical analysis instead of trying to go deeper on the fundamentals, I mean, you are just playing your charts, right? That's another phrase that I like a lot from one of the one of my previous teachers, one of my previous coaches. His name is Chris, or no risk, no premium, and he said, like, trade your chart, not your heart. And I love it. I love it because it's when you disengage your emotions from your trading decisions, because you are basing them only on what you see on the chart. So you don't panic, you don't get overconfident, you just trade what is in front of you. Right? So these are the three different opportunities that I saw on Apple. Not sure if you did something different. For what I'm reading, Cuba made something on Apple, maybe, I don't know, Rael, Red Folder News. So Jack did mention that Apple had more relevant news earlier. Well, actually, the relevant news for Apple were the ones from yesterday. So that's why the higher time frame thesis is based on news from yesterday, and they were not waiting for the 10 a.m. candle. Because usually at 10 a.m., right here, this candle here, as you can see on the indices, they had some reaction to that candle, but it ended being very neutral. But they were not waiting for the news for Apple, because the relevant news for Apple were yesterday. All right, so that's why, yeah, they were more relevant for Apple yesterday news than today's news. So that's why they were expecting this early move. All right, so let's move to the next one. This was the AMD trade that I told you from very early in the morning. So basically what I was doing was watching all these here, all these rejections here. Look at all these rejections here. Look at this, how the pricing was rejecting again, rejecting again. So this was the resistance. Then we broke to the upside, but look at this. A few minutes later, straight back to under this key level. So more rejections here, more rejections here. So when I was watching all of this weakness here, and we came back, rejected again. But now, look at this point here. Look at this point here. So this point here was at the very same time than the top on the indices. So what is this telling me? So this is telling me that even when the indices are super strong, or they were super strong at that time, look at this. I mean, this is, I mean, I don't like to say that this is obvious, because, I mean, if it was obvious, everyone can, take it. But if you are watching lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, rejecting this area from this morning, rejecting this area from this morning. And I told you guys, I mean, if you are on the Discord, I sent this chart in the morning. I sent this chart in the morning, and I told you rejections of this 138.80, 139, and that's exactly what happened. So I took my trade right here. It actually was like something like here, like this. Yeah, something like this. So I took my trade right here after a few rejections on this trend line, rejections of this 138.80 area here. And that's and why this area was important, because was this was a gap on the daily chart. This was a gap on the daily chart. So that's why I thought this was a very relevant area here. And this pop and faith was only to close this gap. So that was my idea. That was my thesis. I know this was kind of disaligned to the indices at that moment, but that was my plan from very early in the morning. So again, if you are on the Discord, you can go watch the admin trading floor, and I share this idea, and I actually told you this is my main watch. This is my main watch. Failing under 139, it should go non-stop to 133. Okay, well, I was probably overreacting, but not that much. I mean, we went all the way to 135. Uh, so this was my trade. For being honest, it was an amazing trade. Uh, I got 70 something percent on my last contracts, and the overall was a 40 something percent trade. So this was an amazing trade. You know, I like puts, you know, I prefer puts, and you know that I know AMD like the back of my hand. So I knew that this will happen. I knew this will happen. I mean, I had a lot of signals from the price action, from the look at this, look at this, look at this. I mean, everything was signaling me like, okay, I'm going down. Just make sure that you find a good spot for entries. And I found it right here. I found it right here, right below the 5-minute opening range low, right below this trend line, right below this gap on the daily chart, right below the opening price, right below this uh, inflection point of resistance. And then, well, like I was telling you, after a few candles here, I took my position right here, and I was aiming first to 137, and then to 136, and then to 133. But as you can see here, this point was never reached. So I was out. I don't know. Like, I don't remember, something around here. I think I actually never went to 135s. I closed my trade probably here. I don't remember. But this was the second opportunity for an AMD trade to the downside. So you have this break, displacement, nice displacement, very decent displacement, and retest of what? 137. 137 on AMD is a strike number, round number, psych number. So this was a strong key level here. Rejections here, rejections here. Look at this. So look how many rejections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after the fifth rejection here, you can open your positions here, your position here. Your risk will be right above this 137 key level. Maybe if you want to, I don't know, like the top of these candles here. And if you were aiming to the next key level, 136, was actually hit like really, really fast. And then, there you are. You had a 1 to 2 point something risk reward ratio trade, and it actually went lower. But after this bounce, maybe you just chicken out and manage your position. But look at this. if you were actually holding like the brave men and women we are, because this is market structure, right? We never had a higher high, so this is a lower high. So what are we expecting after a lower high? Well, a lower low. So after this flush, then we had another try, and then we had our change of character right here. But these were my two different opportunities for the AMD trade. I took the first one, and let me go to the comments. Anyone took AMD today? Cuba, you took AMD pre-market low reclaim to the downside after it was rejecting this zone you put into this in Discord. 1025 candle, 1025 candle. Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah. And remember, guys, when you are going short on a position, you may take these more aggressive entries. You will say like, oh well, but this is almost on low of the day. Yeah, but your risk it's very minimum. I mean, even if you have your risk right here to the 5 minute opening range, right to the next level, it was 1 to 1.7 risk reward ratio trade. But look at this. I mean, you actually got this other key level. So this was a 1 to 3.5 risk reward ratio trade. Taking this more aggressive entry. Why? Because as we always say, is elevator down, escalator up. So when you are going short, you can be more aggressive because you will have more energy to the downside, and then a slow grind up, like it's happening right here, right? Okay. Stina should have trust you instead of Apple. Neto 942 or 943 valid entry 942. Mm, it may be, but you will be stopped right here. I mean, because you will need to have something like 942. You said 942. Mm, well, I don't know. It may be again if you are. Yeah, look at this. The only thing here is that you will be stopped here, but if you take the next one, what 953, 953. I mean, it's depending what you are looking, right? Because yeah, I actually like this one, this 953. I actually like it. Why? Because try to create a new high, you failed, and here it's actually going lower, right? So this first one, I don't like it because you don't have too many contexts or too many correlations right there. But this one, yeah, this one I like it. Why? Because here you have what? A lower high. So after you have a lower high, then you can start looking for your key levels to the downside. And right here, this is 952. So right here, this 952. See, so if you take this candle here, look at this. This one is very nice. This one is very nice. It was just to the first key level, 137. Just to this first key level, it was a 1 to 3.3 risk reward ratio trade. I like this one way more than the first one. Why? I mean, I understand this. This is the break, displacement, and retest of exactly this area here. But here, indices were very inside of the 5 minute opening range. And you will say like, well, yeah, but here we are at the top of the chart on the indices. And then you will say, well, okay, well, then this is relative weakness, right? So this is relative weakness because even when the indices made a new high of the day with a strong push to the upside, you are staying heavy here. Where? Exactly on the area we were saying this morning. All right. So again, you need to stay ahead of the context of the whole trade. All right. So let me go to the what is displacement? Displacement, it's when you actually move away of the key level. For example, here, uh, um for example here, so you break this 137, and if you can see here, this next candle, it's physically away of the key level, but this is what we call uh, this. I mean, this is a very small displacement, right? Or if imagine, let's imagine that you don't have this 1034 candle, so you broke here and you have these two candles here. This will be immediate retest, so you don't have a physical separation between your candles and your key level. So that separation is the displacement. So the with a decent displacement like this, you are making sure that the market structure is actually building, right? Market structure is actually building. So you have this break of the key level and then this pullback to your key level and then the flush. So this is a way better displacement than just this move, right? But again, when you are moving to the downside, everything happens like really fast, and you may take more aggressive entries here when you are going to the downside. Um, AMD disappoint me a bit. It was looking it's sinking. Well, it did 135 from 139 to 135. That's like 2% on the day or three. I'm sorry. Um, Dipti, why you didn't enter at 10:06? 10:06, 10:06, 10:06. Um, that's a that's a good question. Um, the thing I would like to say something like, well, I mean, I didn't trust this retest here because this was not below this previous low, but this entry here, it's actually, building lower highs and rejecting my key area. So probably that was my main trigger, that this was a strong rejection of my key level or my key area. And this was just, like, I mean, not just, it was a nice break, displacement, and retest of this 5 minute opening range. Uh, I don't know, but just because this wasn't lower than these previous candles, it was like, well, I think it needs more energy or more something else. I You're right. I mean, I don't know why I didn't take this, but look at this. I mean, I will be stopped right here, maybe. 10:08, 10:08, right here. This one. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand what you said with this retest of the 5 minute opening range low. Um, Giuseppe, can you show us after your explanation some order blocks? Uh, you know what? I have a different example for the order blocks, Giuseppe. You will see. I actually prepared. I mean, I wasn't expecting to explain the order blocks, but I have another example with a lot of order blocks. You will see. Give me a few minutes. Neto, I have been using the free version of TradingView. Someone mentioned there is a sale on July for subscriptions. What version would you recommend? Well, Diana, if you are new on trading, I will go with the first version because you will need. I mean, the difference between the versions usually is how many charts you can display on the screen. I do have the. Let me tell you. I have the premium version. That's the one on the middle. Uh, and I got it from the Black Friday sale. That's kind of the mother of all of the sales with TradingView. That's when they have like this 70% discount or something like that. So yeah, so I have the premium version. But I really think that if you go with the plus, that's more than enough. For example, me, I don't use as many indicators as I can. I may have 25 indicators per chart. I don't use them. I have 20,000 historical bars. I use Tradezella for my back testing, and I don't do too much of back testing now, right? But if you are starting on this, I will invest on a Tradezella subscription instead of a TradingView subscription for back testing. And then you have 400 price alerts. I do use the alerts, but I use like I don't know, like 10 tops. Um, Two watch list alerts, no ads, volume profile, custom time frames. Yeah, I will go with the plus. I will go with the plus, and I think that's more than enough for starters. Uh, and the first page here only allows 2 charts per tab. Yeah, so I just have multiple tabs. Well, that's another trick. Yeah, that's a good workaround. Just as Andy said, you can only have 2 charts per tab, but not sure if you can see my screen. I have two tabs here, so maybe you can have, I don't know, like 2 charts here and another 2 charts on the other tab, and you are just like moving or jumping between tabs. That's a good workaround, Andy. Thank you. All right, guys. So next chart, I was watching this Amazon. Well, no, this was not the play I told you on the Discord. I was actually looking for strong reaction around here and just going higher. But I mean, this is the kind of opportunity that you see on intraday. So this was a very clear head and shoulders with a neckline right here. So you had this break and retest of the neckline here, and it actually went way lower than I was aiming to this low of the day. I was aiming to hit this low of the day, but it actually went to pre-market low and 218. So it was a 1 to almost 7 risk reward ratio trade. So as you can see, guys, I want you to pay attention to something. So once you start, like reaching key levels on the intraday, like okay, so I broke the previous day low, I broke the 5 minute opening range low, I went to the pre-market low. You can also start watching, the round numbers, the side numbers, as you will see in a different I don't remember what chart I was using, but you will see. So for example here, I think this is a good example. So let's take a look here. So we have previous day low 155.96, let's say 156, and we have, look at the reaction right here, 155. So I'm gonna draw a line here. 155 reaction. What's the next level? 154. Look at this reaction. What's the next level? 153. Give me one second. Here. Look at this. 153 reaction. What's the next level? 152. Let's see. Did we have any reaction? Yeah. 152. Look at this. Support, resistance, support. All right. So once you start breaking your levels to the downside or to the upside, you can also start looking not only for consolidation areas, or if you have previous levels from your chart, you can also be watching for round numbers. Round numbers will work wonders, right? So look at this Nvidia trade. Nvidia, all the semis were looking very weak today. I was watching SMH this morning, that's the ETF for the semis, and it was looking weak. So I was watching to AMD, I was watching Nvidia, I was watching MU, I was watching ABGO. So I was watching most of the semiconductors, and I mean, they were all watching very similar. So if you can see this is a nice try and fail. So Nvidia was trying, to create new highs, but I mean, it failed twice. So this third time, it was actually reacting where? Opening price, 5-minute opening range, very close to previous day low. So if you were watching this is actually here. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So this is market structure, perfectly market structure. So here, if you were watching this, and also what was happening here on the indices, well, the indices were reacting to SPY pre-market high, and this, this is relevant. QQQ was again struggling with this 550 key level. That's the previous week high, and I think it was yesterday very relevant key level. So right here, after failing again to create higher highs, so you can take a position here and aim what? To your first external liquidity level. And then you break this, and what are you looking now? Psych numbers. And you can go, for example, Nvidia, you can go by every 50 cents. Can you see reaction on the 50 cents? And then you go back to 154, reaction on the round number, and then 153.50. Look at this. It's perfect reaction to the key levels. Support, resistance. Look at this. Key level by key level. Can you see this? So this is what I mean. Well, this was a hell of a move. Huh? This was a nice move. This was even better than the AMD, right? Yeah. But Nvidia has been very solid these past days. But this was a very nice move. And do you remember someone was asking, what is displacement? Look, for example, this is a break of this 155.26. That's a key level on the daily chart. So it's probably a previous low of the day. And this is a very small displacement here. So when you are looking for a move, you are looking for a higher displacement. So the pullback on the key level and the retest on the key level, has like more power here. So this is a very small displacement here. So that not sure if this actually clarifies a bit. Um, okay, Paul, does TradingView Plus let you open 3 charts at a time? No, only two, but you can open several tabs. So these are the tabs right here at the top of the chart. So you can have like for example here I have uh, these 3 layouts here, but I also can have, for example, this is my watch list. So I have 6 different charts here, but also have 3 different here, and I can open as many tabs as I need, right? Okay, so this was the Nvidia trade that I like the most. This was the Nvidia trade that I like the most. This was a hell of a move. This was a very nice move. Wow, this was actually a 1 to 10 risk reward. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Anyone took Nvidia today? This is a super nice move. Super nice move. Anyone took Nvidia today? No one? All right. Gabi is a good offer in the Black Friday. Yeah. That I think that's like the best offer on the year. Uh, but yeah, I mean they have the summer sale, they have the Memorial Day sale, they have the 4th of July sale. So they have a lot of sales over the year. But I think the best one it's not even on Christmas, it's on the Black Friday. Right. And Tesla, what happened with Tesla? For being honest, I was thinking on watching Tesla today, 180s, 175, something like that. It This is just nice. I mean, I like this company. I have shares. I have my car, and I do trust on the company vision. I know there's a lot of people that they don't like the CEO, messing around with politicians and sniffing in other businesses. But yeah, but I like this company. So I don't see anything like to get here to grab here. So I'm just gonna skip it and I'm gonna show you Palantir. Look at this, Giuseppe. Giuseppe, are you still there? Okay. Giuseppe, all right. So there you are. All right. So order blocks, my friend. Order blocks are an up close candle on a downtrend. All right. So this is the downtrend and this is the up close candle. So the way that we do it, Giuseppe, is we draw this box. I like only, I mean, it's a case by case. Um, it's a case by case thing, but I like, only draw the order block on the candle wick. Just to be aware that there is something, right? There is something. And for example, here we have this low of the day retracement or pullback to this 134. Look at this 134 round number, strike number. Let's see what happened 133. Look at this reaction here. What happened 132? Look at this reaction right here. What happens 131? Look at this. So can you see? I mean, that's why levels are very important. But I mean, you don't need to draw all of them. You don't need to draw all of them. But it's important that you are aware of these round numbers, not only the key levels because the price action, but also the round numbers because usually the strike numbers are, psych numbers or numbers that where investors are, looking to enter or exit. So investors, long-term investors, are not looking at these candles. All right. Long-term investors are not looking at candles. They are looking at, just numbers. So if you can, uh, switch and start thinking as a long-term investor, you may have better idea of what's going on with the price. All right. So here we have this break, good displacement, retest of what? 134. It's below the 5-minute opening range. So, but this is a strong key level, 134, 134, 134. Actually, if you go back to the chart here, where is it? 134 here. Look at this. It was a previous high, right? Oh, what is it? Sorry. Right. It was a previous high. Look at this. 134. Yeah. I actually have 134. But look at this. This is a perfect retest of a previous high of the day. A previous day high. Oh, it's better to say. Previous day high. So break, displacement, retest. And what was going on with the indices? Well, they were pushing higher, but Palantir was looking very weak. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, you go with the relative weakness, right? So if this name is divergent of the indices and is showing a lot of weakness despite the indices pushing higher, well, that's your signal, right? So you had this break and retest of this 134 previous day's high, and then look at this. This, Giuseppe, this is the downtrend. This is the up close candle. So you draw your order block here. And then you break this, no reaction right here. Well, maybe a small reaction, these candles, 958 to, 1003. You use these candles as support resistance. But then after this, what's going on here? So this is the downtrend and this is the up close candle. So if you had, look at this, two candles here, this is the candle wick and this is another candle. So you are very close to this retest of this order block. But I mean, you may extend the order block to the previous candle here. So this is now your order block here. So you have a break, nice displacement. You have physical separation from your key level or your order block to your price action here. You come back. This is a pullback, retest, and then boom, again, another flush. So right here on this downtrend up close candle, you draw again an order block. Why? Well, as you can see, this is the downtrend up close candle. All right. So now you break again, displacement, and you pull back where? To your order block, right? Why? Because here on this area, there's liquidity built from this low of the day, right? So because this is the low of the day, there's liquidity. So price likes to come back here and move away again. So again, you create a low of the day and this is your downtrend up close candle. So you draw your order block here. So basically your order block could be the whole size of the candle, but I like just, to identify that there's interest here. So you break again, displacement, pull back, where? Well, two different places. All right, this is a key level. This is the 131 key level, but this is also our low of the day. That is also our order block. All right, so not sure, Giuseppe, if you have enough examples kind of to understand the idea of the order blocks here. Hey, Deuce, how you doing? And well, I mean, because this was very clear market structure, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. There's there's no sense to explain all of the entries. But as you can see, on every pullback to an order block or relevant key levels, like here, this was previous week low, this was the 131, this was the 132, this was the 133. So on every pullback to a relevant key level or to an order block, that the most important order blocks are the ones that are aligned to a key level, to a relevant number, right? All right. You're very welcome, Giuseppe. Sabrina, I took Palantir. What do you think about the SPY 1011 or 10, 10, 11, 10, 11 right here? Right? Well, this is a nice flush. Again, this is a nice flush. The only thing here was the SPY was actually just retesting the 5 minute opening range. So, but the good thing here is that Palantir was already looking out with a lot of weakness, right? So yeah, nice moves there, Sabrina. For your third option on Palantir, don't you enter on a higher low? 1, 2, 3, right here. Well, this is the entry here should be 1056. So this is actually, lower than this. This is lower than this. This was the previous high. So this is actually a lower high. It's a lower high. Hasta mañana, Josep. Um, yeah, like here. I mean, it came back here. It came back here, but then it flushed. All right, guys. So I told you I have my appointment for the my renewal of my driver's license. So I have to prepare my papers and drive there. So if you don't have any death or life question, I would like to end this session now and see you tomorrow, guys. You know the drill. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 500 subscribers. I know this is nothing against our coaches, but well, they started with a few subscribers, right? So if I become famous like Mr. Beast in a few years, I will remember all of you guys. All right. Do you pay for real time with TradingView? Yes, it's included on the on my tier for subscription. All right, guys. So thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. And remember, today 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Cross your fingers. My team Rayados needs to win against the Borussia Dortmund. So you will be watching me happy, 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 happy the whole week if we win. All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.